If you've ever watched Naruto, then you've probably seen the smoking log trick, where a ninja will dodge an attack by switching its body with a nearby piece of wood. This trick, called the Substitution JUTSU, is used countless times throughout the series, and is one of the most fundamental and effective methods of self-defense. But nothing is without its limits. The Substitution Jutsu is best used for dodging small attacks in a pinch. For example, you wouldn't find Naruto battling Orochimaru with the Substitution Jutsu as his only defense. Or maybe you would, because Naruto just kinda does his own thing.
Believe it!
Today, we will find that the substitution rule in calculus is really just Leibniz's utilization of the substitution jutsu. Let's begin. Integrals are hard, much harder than taking derivatives. Fortunately for us, there are many methods of integration which can be prescribed to any student struggling with a particular integration problem. In fact, a whole course can be dedicated to the study of these methods, that is, integration by parts, trigonometric substitution, and partial fractions, just to name a few. But perhaps the most fundamental and effective method for computing integrals is the substitution rule. Before we get into what the substitution rule says, let's set up the analogy as an aid. You are Naruto.
Believe it! Believe it! Believe it! Believe it!
And to help you train, Tenten has agreed to have a quick battle with you.
Rising Dragon! Control!
However, Tenten thinks it would be a good idea to have your son Boruto join you, so you call him over.
I'm just here to offer you guys some moral support.
In fact, Tenten wants to see if her homing kunai knives can lock onto both your and your son's chakra, or spiritual physical energy, since you are of the same bloodline. To signal the start of the battle, Tenten releases her summoning scrolls for her throwing weapons. They wave like a big S as they fall from her hands. Having your chakra targeted, Tenten throws her homing kunai at you and Boruto. Dazed by the smoke coming from her summoning scrolls, Boruto slaps some sense into you by shouting, "Substitution Jutsu!" You and Boruto bolt to grab some nearby pieces of wood. It's kind of funny though, because compared to the log you grabbed, Boruto could only manage to find a twig. Switching your bodies with these substitutions, the chakra used to execute this jutsu infuses with the wood, and it appears that the homing kunai are now locked onto your replacements. Smack! The kunai hits the wood, and the attack is over. Sensing that the threat is gone, you and Boruto appear from behind a nearby bush. You can't help but grin from ear to ear, since Tenten is now realizing that it was a bad idea for her to invite Boruto to the battle. Although, Boruto seems unstimulated. This battle was so underwhelming for him that he decides to split and grab some grub. And with that, the training session is over. Time for some Ichiraku ramen. Here, Naruto is a function Naruto of x. Just like g of x equals tangent of x, you can see that Naruto's chakra, or spiritual physical energy, x, flows throughout his body. But also, the same chakra x flows through Boruto's body, just like in g prime of x equals secant squared of x. In fact, it can be seen that Boruto of x equals Naruto prime of x, since the show Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, is clearly a derivative of the show Naruto Shippuden. Now, the battle that is about to commence is a training session of Naruto, with the assistance of Boruto. That is, the integral of training of Naruto of x times Boruto of x, with respect to x. The signal for the start of the battle is the integrand. Just like Tenten's summoning scrolls, this integrand has the shape of an S. In fact, the symbol is intended to look like a smooth S, just like how the notation used for summation is capital sigma. The specific attack used by Tenten comes in the form of dx. Perhaps the D is because she secretly has a death wish for you guys. Anyway, you can tell that it's locked onto your chakra, as indicated by the X located to the right of D. Since the derivative of Naruto of x is present, you can actually use the substitution rule. Think of how if Boruto wasn't present, Naruto would have gotten hit by the kunai while in a daze. Similarly, the integral of training of Naruto of x dx might be an impossible integral to calculate, and we can't use the substitution rule without the presence of Naruto prime of x, that is, Boruto of x. Using the substitution jutsu, Naruto replaces his body with a log, u. Boruto can only manage to replace his body with the derivative of a log, that is, a twig, called du. In particular, u equals Naruto of x, and du equals Naruto prime of x dx, that is, Boruto of x dx. The battle thus changes to the integral of training u du. Using this jutsu, you can tell that the homing kunai knives have switched their targets from Naruto onto the log u, as indicated by the u to the right of the death wish D. The kunai hit their new target, which results in the answer fortifying of u plus c. But what does this even mean? Well, u is Naruto of x, so the real answer is fortifying of Naruto of x plus c. Here, the c is Naruto's newfound grin. Notice how Boruto of x is missing, since he was so underwhelmed that he left. Wait, why fortifying? Because fortifying is an antiderivative of training. But, put a simpler way, training is a derivative of fortifying. Alright, so, what in the world could the substitution rule possibly say? The substitution rule. If u equals g of x is a differentiable function whose range is an interval I, and f of x is continuous on I, and if capital F of x is an antiderivative of f of x, then the integral of f of g of x times g prime of x dx is equal to the integral of f of u du, which is equal to capital F of u plus c, which is then, of course, capital F of g of x plus c. In our analogy, g of x was Naruto of x, and g prime of x was Boruto of x. F of x was training of x, and capital F of x was fortifying of x. But wait, why did I say that the substitution jutsu has its limitations? That's a great question. I almost forgot. Unfortunately, the substitution rule can only help you solve certain kinds of integrals. In particular, the substitution rule is inverse to the chain rule method of differentiation. To solve more types of integrals, the methods of integration by parts, trigonometric substitution, and partial fractions will be discussed in future videos, or later in your calculus course. Anyway, let's finish strong with a quick mathematical example. Let's find the integral of the square root of tangent of x times secant squared of x dx. Well, if we let u be tangent of x, then its derivative du will be secant squared of x dx. And so, this turns into the integral of the square root of u du, which now is equal to 2/3 times u to the 3/2 plus c. Here we just raised the power of u by 1 and divided by the new power. But if we left our answer in terms of u, we would be cheating. Remember, Naruto and Boruto had to come out of the bushes after they knew it was safe. We get 2/3 times the square root of tangent cubed of x plus c. And that's it for today. Math, just like anything else in life, gets easier the more you see it. Take for example your favorite movie. I bet you could watch it for the 10th time and still find some new Easter egg in it. So now that you've seen this video n times, see if you can fill in any gaps by watching it n+1 times. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to give it a like, as it helps support this channel. New videos are posted every Tuesday at 2. To never miss out, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for checking out this week's video. See you Tuesday!